What's up everyone, welcome to another video. Today's one is going to be on my top 5 tips to stop binge eating. So this is obviously going to be a problem that holds a lot of people back when they're trying to lose weight. While you're never going to eliminate the urge altogether to just kind of pig out, there's definitely things you can do to minimise the frequency of that and control yourself a little bit more. So binge eating, it's not just a lack of discipline. And in saying that as well, it's not just unique to you. Now what you always have to keep in mind is discipline is always going to be needed to a certain extent. It's unlikely that no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to go the rest of your life, for example, without being certain points where you want to have a chocolate bar, for example. Nothing you can possibly do is going to eliminate all of your cravings, especially if you're someone that has a sweet tooth. But what I want to teach you in this video is you can do things that are going to make you rely a lot less on your self-discipline. First of which is having a higher protein diet. Protein is by far the most filling macronutrient. So it's more filling than carbohydrates and fats are. So think of any food that's usually high in protein, so meat for example. And you can probably say anecdotally if you eat meat that it's a lot more filling than something like maybe pasta or rice is if you're having a similar amount of the two of them. So what a high protein diet entails in my opinion is you should be aiming for in and around 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight. Now that is on the high end. Now you can definitely get away on a little bit less than that without your results necessarily suffering. Obviously protein is important for muscle gain as well. I always try and aim for this. Sometimes I'll be a little bit under, sometimes a little bit over. Over or under by 15-20% is fine. Once it gets much lower than that, then you probably will start to sacrifice a little bit of recovery then. And I'll always say that nutrient timing isn't really the most important thing you should be focusing on either, but it's always good to keep it in mind because it does help. It's all these little 1% things that can add up. So I'll be trying my best to spread it out across the day, and ideally in each meal I'd want at least 20 or 30 grams of protein. Now in certain meals, obviously dinner or lunch or something, I'll probably go over that. So I'd always try and stick to at least a minimum of 20 grams. For one thing, it fills you up a lot more, and for another, obviously the benefits of protein, you're always getting that kind of protein digestion into the bloodstream, and it's always going to kind of be helping you recover from your training and ground muscle. Second of all, I'd get a proper meal structure in place. Now, I'd like to think I have a decent meal structure. On certain days when I'm very busy, that can all go out the window. But for the most part, I'm trying to stick to a breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I'll have a few snacks in there as well. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, obviously probably the easiest place to start. But also understand that none of these are mandatory, especially breakfast. Like, whether you have breakfast or not is massively down to your own personal preference. And you don't need breakfast to like kickstart your metabolism in the morning or any shit like that you'll see online. I actually made a reel about it on Instagram a few days ago. As I was saying with snacks and the protein in the previous slide, try and have a good high protein and filling snack. But at the end of the day, just do what works best for you and try your best to stick to it. Third tip I have then is to try and limit processed foods. And obviously the video is about trying to basically avoid binge eating processed foods. So processed foods, what they are very low nutrient dense foods. They taste great, but they use up a lot of calories and they don't really fill you up that much. Big bag of crisps, for example, could be close to 1,000 calories, but it's not really going to fill you up. 2 hours after, you'll be looking for something else. So overall, the more processed food that you're eating, the harder your diet will be overall. But that's not to say they don't have a place in your diet, because if you like treating yourself every now and then and you're trying to eliminate it completely, your life is just going to be misery. But the more processed food you eat, you're going to find it quite challenging to stick to lower calories if you're in a deficit, for example, trying to lose weight, because a lot of your calories are going to be used up on food that's not really filling you up at all. So treat yourself from time to time, but eating quite a lot of shit every day is just shooting yourself in the foot. The next thing you should do is plan your meals ahead of time. I do this pretty much every day. So the night before, I'll just jot down what I'm going to have at roughly what time. Now, most of the time, I won't plan exactly what I'm going to be having, but I'll write down what time I'm going to eat and what kind of meal I'll be having as well. So it gives me a lot of flexibility over what I eat, because I might not be in the mood for something if I'm planning it in the night before and I don't want to eat it the next day. So I'm still allowing that flexibility, but it gives me a rough eating schedule to work with depending on what my day is looking like. Most important reason for planning your meals ahead of time is it means you're not going to go too long without eating and then end up completely ruining your diet that day because you just want something convenient when you're starving and tired in the evening time. And the last thing I'll say is getting your sleep in order. Now, everybody says you should get your sleep in order, but I feel like still nobody really prioritizes it. But I can promise you, it's probably the most important thing on this list. Basically, leptin and ghrelin are the hormones that control your hunger levels. And as you might know, the release of pretty much every hormone in your body is directly correlated with the quality and the quantity of your sleep every night. Now, you'll notice anecdotally yourself, if you're having a bad night's sleep or maybe you're out the night before, you're getting home late and you're not getting the best sleep quality, you're always going to find yourself craving more processed foods, so your crisps, your sweets, your pizzas. So you should aim for at least 7 hours of sleep every night. How much sleep you really need depends on you personally. Everyone is a little bit different, but pretty much 99% of people are going to fall between that 7 to 9 hour range. And the quality of your sleep is also as important. Try and stick to a consistent schedule. Try and sleep in a kind of cool room. Try and make sure it's not too hot. Try and avoid bright lights and screens in the hour or two before bed. Try not to be on social media right before you go to bed, because sometimes you can get loads of sleep. You can sleep for 9 or 10 hours, but if your sleep quality isn't the best, then you still feel very tired the next day. And that's pretty much all I have for today. As always, any questions, just shoot them over. If you like the video, make sure you subscribe. See you all later.